What's up, guys? Welcome to yet another video. As you guys can see by the title, today we are getting ready to make some veggie enchiladas. Now this video comes as a special request from my baby girl Kai. Shout outs to you, Kai. Thank you for requesting that I do this recipe. If you guys have any other requests or recipes that you want for me to make sure you guys leave a comment down below and I will get to those as soon as possible. So a couple things before we jump into the video. First and foremost, these are going to be black bean veggie enchiladas. You guys, as always, with all of my recipes, these are extremely versatile. You can use any combination of veggies or beans that you have on hand. I'm using so much stuff in this video, you guys, but again, switch it up and make it the way that you like. Use the vegetables that you love the most. Also, with the black beans in this video, since I've been here in Minnesota with my grandma, I've been doing such a tremendous job at not using any canned vegetables, which has been really cool, or canned beans really. So everything that you see in this video is used from scratch, or in its whole form, if that makes sense. So the beans I use are black beans, and I just bought the dried black beans. I soaked them overnight the night before with just water, and I'll go ahead and insert a clip so you guys can see exactly what I did. So I took the dried beans and put them in a bowl, and then I went ahead and put some water in there till it's about an inch or so above the beans. I let that soak overnight, and then the following morning I went ahead and rinsed the beans off with some fresh water, put them in a pot and added some water to them, and just let them cook for about an hour and a half. Once they hit a boil, I put it to simmer and just let it simmer for an hour and a half, and they were done. So if you guys have never made beans, from scratch or from dry beans, it's really easy. I've been doing it the entire time that I've been here, and it works tremendously. And it's really cool because, as I mentioned in my previous video, grandma has to do very low sodium, and if you've ever looked on the back of a can of anything, it's very high in sodium, like it's crazy high in sodium. So using the dry beans cuts out all that sodium, and it makes it to where she's able to enjoy food and not have to worry about the sodium content in there. So that's just a little tip for you guys. Maybe I'll make a separate video on just some tips and tricks on how to lower your sodium intake or something like that. Give this video a thumbs up if you're interested in that. Also, there was something else that I wanted to say. Also in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make enchilada sauce from scratch. Now, you can always go to the store and just buy a can of enchilada sauce if you're in a rush or you don't feel like making it. But I can honestly say, by making it from scratch, for one, you know everything that's going in there. You don't have to worry about the extra salt or anything like that. You don't have to worry about the preservatives or anything like that are in the canned enchilada sauces that you buy from the store. So again, I'm going to show you guys how to make it from scratch. It's so easy, and it took maybe 10 minutes to throw together. And in my personal opinion, it tastes a lot better than this boy. In my personal opinion, it tastes a lot better than what you buy in the can at the grocery store. So yeah, this is kind of like a 2-for-1 video. I'm also going to be using my homemade nacho cheese sauce in this video. I'm going to make a separate video on my homemade nacho cheese sauce so that you guys can kind of get just a total separate video dedicated to just that. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Here we go, guys. These are our ingredients that we're going to be using. So as you can see, I have a banana pepper. This actually came from my grandma's community garden at her high-rise building. So I have that, and a little bit of kale that also came from there. I also have a red onion that I'm going to use. Maybe about 1/3 of that will go in this recipe. 2 tomatoes, a wrapped zucchini here. I'll probably use about half. I also have some sliced mushrooms and some spinach. So the first thing we need to do is chop up all of our vegetables that I showed you guys. So I'm just going to fast forward right through this. We're just chopping everything up so we can get ready to cook everything. so here are all my lovely chopped vegetables. I think I'm going to also add some corn to this though. And I didn't chop up my spinach yet, but I'm just going to do a rough chop when I'm ready to use that. So yeah, everything is nice and cut up. I'm going to add some corn to this probably as well, and my black beans. But right now we're going to head over to the stove and we're going to start getting everything nice and sauteed until our onions get soft and our zucchini get soft and our mushrooms kind of hydrate a little bit more. And yeah, so let's go over to the stove. Alright, so I'm going to start by just lightly spraying my skillet with some oil. And then I added I think this is about 2 cloves of garlic. So add 2 cloves of garlic. We're going to give that a nice little mix until it becomes fragrant. So maybe about 30 seconds or so. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our ingredients. So I'm starting with our onions here. Next up, we're going to do our zucchini, then our mushrooms. And we're going to just give that a light toss. And we're going to toss it a little bit so everything is nice and, mixed up. And we're going to put the top on it and let it steam for a little bit, about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to mix it again. After 3 minutes, you can see there's a lot of moisture on the top. So I'm going to take the top off and give it another slight mix. Put the top on once again because they're not quite as soft as we need for them to be right now. So we're going to put the top right back on and we're going to just let it go for another 5 minutes. Five minutes later, you guys can see where we're going with this. Everything is nice and soft, so I'm giving it one more little mix. And now we're going to go ahead and add in our black beans. We're also going to do our tomatoes at this point as well. And then we're also going to put in our greens. So I went ahead and cut up my spinach. I already showed you guys the kale. I cut both of those up. And I'm also adding in my banana pepper as well. So go ahead and give this a nice thorough mix so everything can be nice and coated in the warm vegetables. And that will make our green leafy vegetables wilt down a lot more and all that kind of jazz. All right, so let's go ahead and just give it a mix and we will put the top on once more. I went ahead and added my corn. Now this is corn that's just fresh off the cob. I just cut it off and poured it right in here. For seasonings, I'm doing black pepper, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and ground turmeric. After giving it one final toss, it's time for us to move on to the enchilada sauce. Alright, so here are the ingredients we're going to be using for our homemade enchilada sauce. I have onions, garlic, some seasonings that you guys see pictured here, some traditional pasta sauce, and I'm also going to use some veggie broth as well. That is my son's hand, and let's go ahead and head over back to the stove. After spraying my pot with a little bit of oil, we're going to go ahead and add our onions and our garlic, and we're just going to toss these around for maybe about 5 to 7 minutes until they become nice and brown. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this, but we want to saute our onions and garlic until our onions get just brown, like, I don't know if that even makes sense, but just so it looks like this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my seasonings, and I'll have the measurements in the description box below, but I'm going to pour it all in there. And we're going to mix this around for about 30 seconds, and this just makes it to where you can kind of really pull the flavors out of the seasoning. So we're going to mix this around for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to add our other ingredients in there. Okay, so now it's been about 30 seconds. I'm going to take my can of low sodium pasta sauce and just pour that right in there. You can hear it sizzle because that butter is hot. And then I'm also going to take 1 cup of veggie broth and pour that in there as well. So what we're going to do is give this a nice mix, and then I'm going to let this go to like a low simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then it'll be done. So I'm going to mix it and just make sure everything is mixed thoroughly as far as the spices and everything. I think I might whisk it a little bit too, but I'm going to let it sit here. Like I said, let me get this whisk real quick. There you go. I just want to make sure everything is nice and broken up in there. So I'm going to let this sit for about 8 to 10 minutes at a low boil. And then we're going to go ahead and strain it. So my little setup here just consists of a plastic bowl and a fine mesh strainer. So I'm pouring all of my enchilada sauce into the strainer, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit it a little bit and mix it around a bit until all of the enchilada sauce is strained through the strainer. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so I'm done pressing out all the moisture from my sauce, really, and there's your enchilada sauce. So that's the final look. So let's go ahead and start assembling our enchiladas. This part is pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to take our tortillas. Mine are 8-inch tortillas. We're going to put our filling in there, our veggie mix that we made at the beginning of the video, and just wrap them up and set them to the side until we're ready to put them in our baking dish. So now that all of my enchiladas are wrapped, I'm going to take some of the enchilada sauce and put it at the base of my baking dish, maybe about a cup or so. One by one, I'm going to take each of my enchiladas and just put them right in the baking dish, right on top of the sauce. With the remainder of my enchilada sauce, I'm just pouring it right on top of the tortillas till they're all nice and covered. And I actually ended up having some enchilada sauce left over. So as you can see, I'm just going to pour it right on there. And then this is my homemade nacho cheese sauce. Like I told you guys in the intro, I'm going to make a separate video specifically for this recipe because this is a bomb cheese sauce and you can do so much with it. So I'm just like completely covering it with my nacho cheese sauce because this is kind of what I had left over. And then yeah, this is going to be covered with some aluminum foil and go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 15-20 minutes really until it warms all the way through. After it comes out of the oven, this is what it looks like. So I topped mine with some cilantro and green onions. And yeah, we just ate it from there with a little bit of hot sauce. You guys know, all right? But this one turned out really, really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed as well. And yeah, we'll see you in the next recipe. All right, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, make sure you follow me on my social media accounts so you guys can see everything that goes down over there. It lets you know when I upload a video. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe so you can also be notified of when I upload a video. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Like I said before, if you guys have any requests for recipes that you want me to veganize for you guys, make sure you leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.